Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy the Sunshine Cat doing a video on the AMD 2950 and 2080 Ti benchmarks, doing some FPS at ultra settings on my 2K monitor here. I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with the performance of the 2080 Ti, not so much the CPU. I do have the CPU overclocked at 4 GHz though on each core, otherwise everything else is stock timings across the GPU and CPU. I will note the GPU gets very hot, and before I get rambling, let's get into some numbers. Starting off with Forza, this game looks and feels excellent. Compared to my 1080, it's up another 26 FPS on average, which almost fully exercises my 144Hz monitor. No problems here with FPS, which never drops below 100. Although with putting hours into the game on both the 2080 Ti and 1080, it definitely plays great on both. Next up is a guilty pleasure of mine, Grand Theft Auto 5. With everything maxed out, I felt like the average FPS in the benchmark test was not great, and when comparing it with other people's results online, it did seem like my score was a bit low. Just a quick note that I do take an average of 3 runs to determine these numbers, and so it was consistently around this frame rate. Worth noting though is that the 2080 Ti was still a definite improvement over the 1080. On to Far Cry 5, the frame rate improvement with the 2080 Ti was not as noticeable, with only a 10 FPS difference in their averages. The game still looks and feels great on both of these cards, and the lower frame rate may just be due to CPU constraints. Next we have Rise of the Tomb Raider. I have admittedly never played this game, and so I will let the benchmark numbers do the talking. After seeing how good this game looks though, I am now tempted to start playing. I am happy to see a good boost in performance here, with the 2080 providing an extra 25 FPS on average. Up next is Metro Last Lie at Redux. The game looks and feels amazing. The 2080 Ti gives you an extra 33 FPS on average here in the benchmark, but honestly I felt in actual gameplay I was getting better performance and the game felt great. Now I am absolutely terrible at this game, but here are the numbers for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Good performance boost here again, with the 2080 Ti outshining as you would expect. Just a quick heads up here that the numbers from here on out are from actual gameplay. The last few games didn't have benchmark utilities, and so I played the same level through to compare the 1080 with the 2080 Ti in the remaining tests. Wolfenstein performs excellently on both of these cards, but with a huge performance boost on the 2080 Ti. Everything was silky smooth and played great. Okay guys, now my least favorite benchmark, Fallout 4. I never got into this game personally and was pretty surprised by the benchmarks here. After doing research, I found this is completely normal for their game engine, with physics being tied into your frame rate. The frame rate difference is negligible here, and I'm going to chalk them up as equals. So, if you're planning to play the new Fallout 76 exclusively, it looks like it doesn't really matter what graphics card you buy up to a certain point. Next up is Witcher 3, looking great as ever at a solid average of 99 frames per second on the 2080 Ti. I do have Hairworks turned on here and maxed out. Every setting is absolutely maxed out in each of these benchmarks. I did notice occasional frame rate drops which are evident in the 1% low numbers. These were unfortunately a little hard to look past. And lastly, just for fun, we have Doom, which if you've ever played, you can probably guess that it performs excellently on both cards, with the 2080 Ti getting around a 20 FPS increase over the 1080. And that's going to do it for the benchmarks, guys. Overall, I was impressed with the 2080 Ti and less so with the 2950X. I do notice that multitasking and video encoding is quite a bit faster than the 6700K that I was using prior, but the transition has its trade-offs. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like and consider subscribing. Catch you next time.